They're playing really, really well right now, and we have a lot of respect for them and their players and coaching staff, and know it'll be a great opportunity for us. So we're excited. We're about ready to get to work, and with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
You touched on it right there, but just winning a game like that, with all three phases, kind of winning a close one, how much, better is that for the team psyche going forward?
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, that's, when you get into conference play, that's what a lot of your games are going to be like. They're going to come down to the end, and usually to me, winning games in the fourth quarter comes down to maturity, comes down to confidence, it comes down to trusting in yourself, trusting in the guys around you, and I just didn't sense any panic. I sensed a team that was was determined to find a way to win the game, and kept coming back and kept battling. And they scored the last touchdown, and it could have been a depressing moment because I think we kind of thought we had it, and they kick it off and they tackle us at the 14-yard line. So to have 86 yards in front of you, that can be daunting, but we just did it piece by piece, and at the end. To get down there to put the game in not just Connor's hands, but the whole PAT field goal team, I thought that was really important. So tremendous experience for us as we move forward. We played a lot of young kids in that game. We started two true freshmen in the secondary, and that was I believe both of their first starts, right? So Christian Morgan stepped up, had an interception. Kalen Barnes made some unbelievable plays. We wear those GPS units, and Chris Altoff told me that he recorded like a 22.9, was the third fastest of all time here. So Kalen did. So I just think that was good, and then I think the biggest thing was our guys enjoyed the battle, right? Like if you play the game looking at the scoreboard, you end up getting tight, and I thought our guys really enjoyed the moment. It was fun on the sidelines, and it was fun, in the stadium. I thought the crowd at the end was awesome, and so it was a great experience for our players. I was happy for them.
Matt, explosive plays, I guess, have continued to be an issue against OU as a pass, as the run against Kansas State. What do y'all need to do?
We have to play better, everything it's never just one thing, and that's coaching talk. But there's one or two of them where literally like we're slanting the whole line, and a couple guys go the wrong way, and it opens up a huge gap, and it's a touchdown. I think we have to play a little bit better, in our second and third levels. I think our D-line's getting off and, playing aggressively and playing violently and getting off blocks. And, I think we had, 4 or 5 sacks in the game. We created turnovers. So we're doing some things better than we have. But it's just those devastating – and it's the runs is what kills you. Against Oklahoma, they had some runs in the fourth quarter. But I think we had them like at 87 yards in the middle of the third quarter rushing. It was the pass that hurt us. And then, we came into this game and – DT and Harrison weren't 100%. Graylin's out, so Raleigh and Kalen practiced really well. So we went ahead and started them, and versus a couple of veteran receivers, you're expecting that to be sort of the issue. And those guys held up great. It was the run that got us, and so we just have to play better. As dumb as that might sound, as simple as that might sound, guys have to get off some blocks and make some plays, and that we're not really doing that at the highest of levels right now. We blitzed the run, we man-blitzed the run, we did a bunch of different things, and but it's not any one guy, it's not any one thing, and to me, I think it can be corrected, and it needs to be corrected, moving forward. And I thought Kansas State, a lot of credit to them. I thought they came out with a run in the second half that they hadn't really used in the first half, and it just kind of schematically bothered us. Our guys never really adjusted, and we tried to adjust on the sideline, but never really did. And I thought Barnes played really well. The game was over. Our kids were celebrating. He's the first guy I walked over to and said, "Well, I tell you what, that was an outstanding performance." And I don't want to take anything away from him. I thought he was really special.
Matt, you've had an impact from a lot of transfers this year. Jalen and Fruit Morgan and Lockhart, Hurd. First of all, can you just speak maybe to the impact those guys have had, but also do you recruit those guys differently than you would a kid coming out of high school?
Yeah, I've never been when I was at Temple, I didn't take a ton of transfers. It had to be someone I had a relationship with. I thought, when we got here, because of the scholarship situation that we were in, taking a couple guys made a lot of sense. So I think it's just a little bit different in that when you come out of high school, guys are thinking about a lot of different things. What I want to study. Some guys want to know what the helmet combination. There's a lot of different things that go into high school recruiting. when you've gone somewhere and it didn't work out and you're looking for a second place, it's usually a little different conversation. It's how do I fit? Where do I belong? And we have to feel good about what your reasons were for leaving. So I think that it's always a unique situation. But those guys have helped us a ton. Jake Fu Morgan. I'm waiting for him to get healthy, and I think we're really going to see him start to shine. You look at Jalen Hurd. I think his impact is. I think everyone's starting to see it. Locke. He's a guy that came in kind of before when we first got here. He came in mid-year to kind of fill the class that had left the year before, and he's playing good football now. Christian Beard, came here and walked on and earned a scholarship. I mean, he started the first couple games when he was 100%, and he's done a great job for us. So there's a lot of impact of a lot of those guys. And then McClendon, I mean, he's a drop pass or two away from playing a lot more. I mean, he had his chances, and some guys didn't make some plays. But he's been an amazing teammate, and he's going to go play pro football, and hopefully this place helped him along the way. So those guys have been great for us. It's as unique a roster situation. So people always ask me all these other things, like just what we've done roster-wise has been really just different. You don't see that very often, and so those guys really helped us make sure we had enough older guys to go along with all the young kids we brought in.
When Connor's having a game like he was on Saturday, what's the line between psychology and mechanics that you have to kind of toe with him? When figuring out what it is he doing something wrong mechanically, or is he just got the yips that day?
Yeah, and it's been a couple weeks now for him, So I mean, missed an extra point against Oklahoma, missed I think a kick the week before. I can't remember how everything has played out, right? But I mean, and really, a lot of times, just like with my golf swing, like your psychology affects your technique, and it affects your mechanics. And so Connor's an elite kicker. At one point, we were putting out graphics. He was 5 for 5. He's an outstanding kicker. There's been times where he hasn't really, attacked the ball and got his plant foot down and, finished through the ball, where he's starting to kind of try to push it and hope that it goes in. And I don't think it's that simple. I mean, I think, even a couple of them, he said, hey, I felt good about it. But, I think sometimes, like at halftime, he needed to get a little bit out, right? I mean, like, you can say what you want now. That's affecting you. Like, I come in on Sundays, I meet with a lot of players. There's a lot of things going on in a lot of players' brains and hearts, and they all want so badly to do well, and they all want so badly to not let their teammates down, that when you do, you start to put a ton of pressure on yourself. And so I think at halftime he just had to settle down. And you know what? I probably didn't I kept putting him out there with like kicking 50-yarders. It wasn't like I was giving him layups, But I just wanted him to know, like, I tried one time, being nice. I tried one time saying, do you want me to put someone else in? I tried one time saying, you can do it, But I think at the end of the day, what was really cool was it was him. He had the look in his eye when he went out to kick that last field goal, like, I'm knocking this through. He kind of ran out there with purpose. And that's something he did. And, was there a kicker in the NFL this week that missed 5 or something like that? I saw that. Yeah, Mason Crosby, who's outstanding, right? So we're all going to have sort of those days. It's about having enough confidence and trust in yourself to just go back to the process of, what do I do? And I thought he did that when it mattered most.
Coach, on the running back situation, first of all, Lovett status, and second, what are you thinking about the Squirrel now?
Lovett, he'll be good to go this week. I mean, we thought he'd be ready for the game, and at the last minute, just the doctors felt like, he hadn't fulfilled everything, and which is great. That's what's great about, having medical professionals handling concussions nowadays, is that they tell you when someone's ready. Squirrel, I think it's kind of a week-to-week thing. I mean, what a burst he gave us, and not just on that last run, but the first run. And we'll try to use him in spots, and kind of make a decision as we go of, are we going to use his year up or just try to play 4 games? But I thought, what he gave us, we have a lot of guys playing running back. You run for 260 yards, you only have 100-yard tailback. I mean, Ebner did his thing. Jalen Hurd comes over kind of in the big packages and does his thing, and it was a great play by Squirrel. And really one of the best moments, for me of that game was just seeing all the older guys celebrate with Squirrel. It was like they deeply, deeply respect him. And he's our scout team tailback, and he and Abram, and they hit him, and Squirrel just gets right back up and keeps playing. And so for him to have a chance in the game, I thought was really cool for our team. So I'm not really sure what his role will be this week, and we're hopeful that but we're hopeful we can find him something to do.
How
And
good is that?
you talk about belief, and you instill that in your kids, and the results aren't there last year, but then to see the results show up, what does that do for a locker room when they can put wins on film instead of just believing they're going to win?
Yeah, I think, I told them all the time in camp how special I think they are, because I said, you're believing in what we're doing. You're doing it day in and day out without any evidence. It's just faith right now. And I said, and when you start to win, you'll say it's all worth it, right? It'll all make sense. But when you're doing it, when you're not winning, is completely different. And so, at the end of the game, we roll up at the 50-yard line because we say a prayer after the game. And I said to them, hey, was everything that because we started the game by saying, just remember everything we've done on this field all summer, pushing plates, 6 a.m. in the winter. I said, was it all worth it? And they said, absolutely. And so that's when you can finally say that. Like, instead of saying, hey, someday it's going to be worth it, when you can say, was all the work worth it? Yes, it was. Great. And so that's when the guys really start to believe in the process, that you're doing. And everyone has a process. Everyone has a way that they run their program. When they start to see the results, both team-wise in terms of wins, when they start to see it personally, when they realize they're playing better, and when they start to see guys go off to the NFL and come back and say, hey, we're prepared, that to me takes the program to the next level. So we're certainly a work in progress. But you hope that they believe you more. When I go in today and say, hey, guys, we're doing this well, we have to fix this. Now at least they know, hey, you know what, Coach has told us the truth when we were 0-6, 0-7. So hopefully he's telling us the truth now that we've won 4 games.
Just briefly on the kicker situation, is it maybe the most unique position in football to where we see it a lot in the NFL, that it seems like it is so mental and there's so much more than just go out there and do your job?
Yeah, well, I think it's just such a lonely position. You're out there and really, like, if I'm a corner and I get beat for a 40-yard catch, I can line up and play the next play and get out of my system. If I'm a receiver and drop a ball, I can say, darn it, and I can get up and I can play the next play. If I'm a kicker, man, I have to wait till the next chance I have to go kick. And in our situation, because Galitz kicks off for us and punts, Connor doesn't really have a chance to, all right, well, let me kick off after the next touchdown and get myself going again. He's got to go out there and wait for his opportunity. But, that's why it's much more fun to be a punter than a kicker, They have a bad punt and they just play defense. But like I said, Connor, I think what we showed everybody was just how mentally tough he is and how ready, how ready he is to help his team. He stepped up when his team needed him.
What do you see from Sam Ellinger? It seems like he's just gotten better as the years gone on.
Yeah, we didn't have a chance to play against him last year. We played against Shane, who I thought was outstanding in that game. He's a great quarterback in his own right. But Sam's certainly a competitor. He brings a lot to the table in terms of his ability to run the football. I mean, we played against Coach Herman and Coach Orlando and those guys when they were at Houston, and Greg Ward was just a difference maker in terms of his ability to run the football and how it opens up so many things. I think the thing for watching Sam, he can run the football in terms of if they have numbers, they run their quarterback sweeps and all those things. He can run zone read, keeps you off balance. He can scramble, look to throw. He can scramble and hurt you with his legs, and then he's extremely accurate. He's throwing deep balls in a position to give guys. He has big receivers, and they take advantage of what they have. They have 6'6", 6'5". They throw. He throws it up. So, I think he's playing really well, and he's playing in a system that seems very tailored for him and what he does.
Man, you've had a history of it, but what did y'all see in Kalen that made you think this guy can play corner on this level?
10 flat. We brought him here. He played receiver pretty much the first 3 weeks of camp. And I still hope someday he'll, we wanted him to play both ways. He's just become a starter because he's really an outstanding route runner. Now, we have a bunch of older receivers doing some great things. We have a bunch of young, talented receivers, and I think we got a chance to see what Fleeks could do. And I thought it was really cool. Here's Fleeks, Josh, he's a freshman, and they kick away from him, at the end of the game because he was pretty close to busting one. And so, between Fleeks and Taekwon as a true freshman and many more. We have a great young crop. So as we had some injuries at corner, we put Kalen over there. And he just has tremendous speed, and he's confident, and he'll be physical. And, he's learning as he goes, but the thing about I like about him is he loves to practice. He loves to compete. He's got a tremendous attitude and tremendous personality. And, when he made that play on the sideline, when they ran that little switch route and he ran down and knocked the ball away, those were the kind of plays, that our team needed. Our team, our team needed to see other guys on our team going and making plays, and I thought that gave us confidence throughout the game. Like, hey, we're making plays today, and that was a big time play by Kalen.
He didn't make the play, but that one where he sprints from the far side
Yep.
almost. I mean, is that one of those that you can show on film too? Of
Yep. Because
don't give up, that kind of thing.
one of the things I always say is I don't ever want to see a guy on an opposing offense running the end zone without us diving. Like, I don't, we had a play years ago, kid that's playing, was a converted receiver and hadn't had a lot of success, and moved him to corner, and he's having a heck of a pro career right now. He ran about 70 yards and laid out about 5 yards from the guy. And I remember getting a letter from this little kid in Ohio. It was like, I was watching this Friday night American Athletic Conference game. I saw and what it taught. And this kid wrote me this letter, and I read it to the team. And to see Kalen do that, that's exactly how we want to play defense. Like, bad things are going to happen. Like, are you going to run even when you know you're not going to get the guy? Or are you going to kind of turn and point and make people think it was this guy? Or are you going to go and make the tackle? And to see him play like that, man, that really speaks to who he is. And that's why he was ready to start. And that's why, I think he'll continue to get better as the year goes on.
You guys went 10 of 17 and third down. How pleased were you that you guys were able to extend the drive over and over again?
Yeah, I think we're leading the Big 12 right now in first downs. The last two games we've had a lot of yards, but haven't had a lot of explosive plays. People have tried to take away a lot of the deep balls and made us execute. And I thought, I think we had 33 first downs against Oklahoma and 38 on Saturday. And that, to me, that's a credit to our receivers. Or those guys are making enough plays to keep the chains moving. And on third down, we're not doing a very good job right now of protecting the quarterback. I think we're like 7th in the conference in terms of giving up sacks. But when it mattered, I thought we made enough plays. And I think short yardage, putting Jalen in the backfield has really helped us extend drives. And I thought our receivers, all those guys have done a much better job. And so, 10 of 17 is a pretty good number. Anytime you're over 45%, you're doing pretty well. And that it takes a lot of things to get to that. You can't be in 3rd and 8 all the time, And I think one of the keys on Saturday was there weren't a ton of drops, and there weren't very many penalties. We had 2 penalties. And I sat here last week and told you guys I think we're a disciplined team. I don't think we're doing anything everyone else isn't doing. And I thought that was the way college football should be on Saturday. There was 2 penalties for us, I think 3 or 4 for them. It was a pretty quiet game in terms of that. And that not being in 2nd and 15, not being in 3rd and 12 allows you to be successful on third down. And because we didn't beat ourselves, we were pretty manageable in terms of third down.
Considering the extra hype from the fans, the media hype, the extra emotion that goes into a Texas OU weekend, is there any advantage to playing Texas the week after they've played Oklahoma?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, they're just a really good team, and I think they've got to be really, really confident right now because they're playing well. Not confident because, of anything else other than they're playing good football. And they're playing a lot of young, guys too. Caden Stearns is a true freshman, and so every game he plays, he gets, I'm sure he gets more and more confident, better and better and better. And so, but they're a team that's clicking right now. You can see that they're kind of hitting on all cylinders. They had a punt return for a touchdown 2 weeks ago. So for them, it's offense, defense, and special teams. And so I'm sure they feel very good about where they are, as they should, because they're playing well. And I just think for us, like any week, we're going to completely focus on ourselves. The only chance you have to win big-time football games is to play well. And, you can't go out and win big-time games, versus top 10 teams if you have penalties, if you have turnovers, if you have all that stuff. So we'll make sure our guys, we have a nice, simple game plan because they do more on defense than really anyone, you see. Coach Orlando does a tremendous job, and so we have to make sure that our guys are confident and in what we're doing, and just try to go out there and play a good, clean football game, play well, and that starts with practice, and hope that on defense, we just don't give up the explosives and we make it be a battle, battle field position, make them have to move the football, long drives, don't let it be just 60, 70, 80-yard plays. I think that's really going to be 2 of the keys in the game.
Coach, Braylon Arnold and Burkedrick Longs, do you see them being available this weekend? Yeah,
Burkedrick was available. He has this lingering, issue that kind of plagues him at times. So he was available. He was dressed up. He was on a, if needed basis on Saturday. So hopefully he'll be there. Really, the same was true for Derek Thomas and Harrison. They were available on Saturday as needed. And then Graylin, I think, is probably still a little ways away, as is Xavier Newman. We're hopeful those guys they're coming off their ankles, and hopefully they'll be back soon.
Matt, you talked about it after the game. There were a lot of good stories in that game. Jaron McVay, I mean, guy that I think he started your first game last year, but, making that interception.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jaron's a guy, he a week ago, he probably, I don't know if he even saw the field other than special teams. And to get out there and to play the routes right, to pick a ball off. Again, kind of like going back to, the question about belief, and as you start kind of believe throughout the game, seeing guys make some plays, I think that really helped us along the way. But, Jaron's just a tremendous teammate, man. He comes out there, he'll, play on the scout team, he'll play defense, he'll play special teams. He's very talented. I mean, he's a 4.38 guy. So even though he walked on here, he's a scholarship caliber player. And so I was excited for him. I mean, we haven't turned the ball over very much. I think we had 2 on the year so far, and so to get 3 on Saturday was big time. And glad that it was him.
Matt, how good a trade is it for Charlie to have the kind of savvy he does out there, just dealing with things?
Yeah, we were talking about quarterback before. I mean, it's why it's 50%. First round quarterbacks are 50%. In terms of who can play the position. Lots of guys can throw. Lots of guys can do different things. It really comes down to when things break down, when things go wrong. Bad quarterbacks make a bad play worse. Good quarterbacks keep it the same, and great quarterbacks do special things in those oh no moments, right? And I think that's been what Charlie's done. He's been under duress at times. Besides being extremely accurate, he gets outside the pocket and extends drives with his feet, finds check downs, and really doesn't make the the crucial mistake. We had a pick on Saturday, which is really more just us kind of going to the well one time too many on a certain route. But he just has that, and I think it's his grandfather played quarterback, his father played quarterback, his brother played quarterback. I just think he's grown up seeing that. And when you're the quarterback, when things go well, everyone loves you, and when things don't go well, it's like you and the head coach, man. You're going to hear about it. And so I think his demeanor and his personality allows him to handle that. He doesn't get too high when things go well, and he doesn't get too low when things don't go well. And I don't think people realize just how fiery of a guy he really is. He doesn't say a lot, but he loves to compete, and he's got a toughness about him that I think makes everyone around him a little bit better.
Matt, you've won 4 games. Do you think you can win 2 more and get to be a bowl well?
I sure hope so. I really believe that we have the type of football team that if we play well, we'll have a chance to win every week, and if we don't play well, we'll have a chance to lose every week. And so when I tell our guys process, all I'm really telling them is completely become enamored, become just absolutely obsessed with playing well. And we have to stay healthy. We have to do a lot of different things. But if we play well, I think we'll have a chance in a lot of ball games. And we didn't like the final score at the Oklahoma game, but I was willing to send that message to our team. I onside kicked it. I went for it on 4th down. I didn't want to play it close. I wanted our team to understand that we're going to go out and try to win every game that we play. I don't care if we're playing the Green Bay Packers. We're going to try to win every game that we play. And I expect our guys to go out and find a way to win the game. I believe in our players. And so I believe our players, their best football is ahead of them. I think we're growing and learning. I think some of our older players have stepped up. We have a couple older guys that if they step up and we play a little bit better at some positions, we could have a really good team. And so, yeah, I'm confident we'll find a way somehow, some way.
Talk about the quarterback run game a little bit with what Herman likes to do. Or overall with this team, are you seeing kind of them start to do some of the things that made Herman successful at Houston when y'all went up against each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, they're very creative. They have a nice trick play package. They have a great vertical passing game. Tom and Coach Beck, I mean, they're very creative guys. And they're one of those offenses that takes advantage of what the defense gives them, right? If you give them numbers here, they'll run it here. If not, the quarterback will run it there. If not, they'll throw this RPO. So they're very well put together, and they were very well put together last year. I think they're playing really well up front on the offensive line. They have a physical tight end that can do a lot of different things. He can be a fullback, he can be a tight end, he can be a wide out. I think like anyone else, when they're running the football well, they become really hard to defend, and they're running the football well. So, we'll have our work cut out for us on defense, and But that's every week, you know. And so, but yeah, they're just doing a nice job of, and they have a kind of a whole. They have an offensive system, not just a package of plays. And when you have a system, you know, it's always harder to defend.